Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of TBR. And I'm George Binns. And as you'll notice, it's still election season, and we have with us this evening the candidate for re-election to Ward 4 City Council, Scott Houseman.
Evening, George.
Welcome, Scott.
Good to see you.
So things are getting a little testy this year. We had a teacher strike, and I guess you guys just passed a budget.
Yeah.
And it's up 5% or so.
Well, it depends on what side of the budget you're looking at. The school side is up more like 7%, and the city side is down a little bit, actually.
Yeah. So the net is about 5.
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's $170 million, give or take.
Yeah.
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 Depending on whether or not you count what are called enterprise funds and whether they're in or out, that's a whole, those are sort of separate freestanding funds.
I guess it's the old famous one about a million here, a million there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money. Yeah. So I guess you've been out knocking on doors, getting your signatures. And what are you hearing? What is?
Well, yeah, I knew you'd likely to ask me what I'm hearing. So when it came time to take out papers, I got my signatures and was certified within about a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And mostly what I heard from people when I collected signatures was they didn't really have any questions. I thought I was doing a good job, happy to sign. And I know there are some city councilors, even at this date, that have not been certified yet with all their signatures. But I got mine right away. And what I will be doing is, as you suggest, going door to door and asking people what's on their minds. I mean, my experience with what's on people's minds are sort of two things. One is we're in the summer season right now. Mm-hmm. Most people are not really wanting and certainly are not paying much attention to what's going on in the city. Yeah. Their attention tends to get focused in the fall when people come back from school and the election is closer. Yeah. The other thing is that I do expect to hear plenty from people because I think that affordability is a big issue. And I think people think of city government a lot like their car. As long as it's running, seems to be running fine, they'd rather not pay attention to it. They just want to get on with their life. Yeah. When they pay attention to it is when the engine light shows up. Yeah. And I think that's where we are at, to the degree people are aware of it. And part of what I hope we'll get into in, this evening, and certainly when I go around and talk with people, is to try to bring awareness to people about what we anticipate is coming financially for the city.
Well, that gets to be the big issue, that the 2026 budget is relatively straightforward.
It's a balanced budget.
Balanced budget, and did most of what we wanted to do, except for roads and sidewalks took a hit. But 2027 looks tight, difficult.
Yeah. So the city council has one employee, as long as you don't count the city clerk's office, which works for the city as a whole. And that's a financial budget and management analyst. Yeah. The fellow we have now, Jerry Perry, was in charge of the State Department of Revenue's Division of Local Services, which is the financial oversight of all cities and towns. Mm-hmm. He's highly qualified and does a great job helping out the council with advice on an analysis of financial matters for the city. He is projecting what's called a structural deficit for not this fiscal year, which just started July 1st through June 30th of next year, but for the next budget after that.
Yeah, 2027.
This budget already shows some strains. He's projecting what's called a structural deficit in what's FY 2027, which would start July 1st, a year from now. And basically what a structural deficit means is revenues look to be smaller, projected revenues look to be smaller than projected expenses. Our expenses are likely to be more than we have in projected incoming revenues. So we have not faced So I've been on the council since 2012, 14 years. We have not faced that kind of situation in all of those years. So we're sort of getting into uncharted territory from the financial perspective. And it's gonna cause some problems for us if the projections hold true.
Well, okay, what's driving us into this situation? Is it the teachers' settlement, or is it?
Well, I would go back a little bit farther and speak more globally, which is I think we're still seeing sort of the long tail of COVID and the inflation that followed after government response to COVID. So just to give you an example, health insurance premiums, pretty much for everyone, but in this case for the city, have gone up 10%. And health insurance premiums meaning for city and school employees. Mm-hmm. The city's budget picks up 80% of that 10% increase. Proposition 2.5 only allows the city to increase its revenues by 2.5% each year.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take much to figure out that if inflation is 10% and you're only increasing your revenues by 2.5%, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what we're seeing in the budget now, is all the various knock-on effects of inflation. A lot of it has to do with, you referenced, the teacher strike and the teachers' negotiation for higher wages. That is certainly part of it. Health insurance premiums are certainly part of it. Cost of materials for projects the city is engaged in, including roads and sidewalks. All of those costs have gone up, and generally, writ large, exceeded 2.5%. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of the setup for what seems to be a problem coming down the road financially for the city.
And what's the thinking on possible solutions?
Well, as I said during the budget hearings that the council had last month in June, we really haven't heard from the citizens a full-throated discussion about what the residents, what the voters will want to do in facing this situation. There's, to simplify it, there's really only two ways to go. You either reduce services, and the city is basically in the services business. That's primarily what we do, right? Yeah. And so the highest cost is labor, right? You either reduce services or you increase revenues, or some combination of the both. So we can face the possibility of layoffs. That's a real possibility right now on both the school side and the city side. The city side's budget for this fiscal year, actually, allocation for the city side actually went down. Most of the allocation, 96%, I think, of all available new revenue went to the school side of the budget. So you can either reduce the cost to the city with layoffs, or services cut back, like no more road and sidewalk work for the next year, right, for that fiscal year. Or you can increase revenues. There has been put on the table discussion about a proposition override, a proposition to override to increase revenues. But I don't know that people are really, other than sort of a small section of the voting public, have really understand that there is a problem, much less how they want to respond to it, whether they want to pay more or whether they want to see layoffs. So I think in this next year, and certainly during this campaign season, it's going to be trying to have conversations about that, and we'll hear more from the public over the course of this next year, because one of the things the council really needs to do, in my opinion, is to require the administration to work more closely with the council early on in the budget forming process. Yeah. Typically that has not happened in the past. And that'll all be part of the conversation.
Yeah, that's one of the issues I think that's come out really loud and clear in the last year or so. I guess from my understanding, it probably started with the library that is going to be was a three point something million
It was
dollar.
initially budgeted to be a $2 million project with the council appropriated that money.
Yeah, and by the time everything got settled, it was up to 18 million.
2 years later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I would classify as sticker shock. And
Yeah.
we've gone through a similar ritual with the overhaul of the city hall.
City Hall, yeah.
And it started out at 18 million, then it got to be 25. Then we bought the dollar store and drove it all the way up to 34.8 million, and went back to the drawing board and cut it back to 25, and then it's backed up to 27, and we still
I
own
haven't
the,
seen anything about 27. The mayor has been clear with the council that he's holding the cost at 25 million.
Okay.
And if that means cutting things out of, the wish list, if you will, of changes at City Hall, so be it.
Yeah.
He's committed to 25 million and no more.
Okay, and we still own the dollar store,
Yeah.
and
And the parking lot behind it.
well, that's the whole deal, is
Yeah.
to get the parking lot.
Yeah.
And so we're talking big numbers.
Yeah, we are. I mean, just a comment about the library. So I've been on the council longer than any other city councilor at this point, 7 terms. One of the things that I am really looking forward to doing and have worked with my colleagues over the course of this past term is to be more vigorous and to the degree necessary impose upon the administration, whether it's the Cahill administration or the Sweeney administration, because we do have a mayor's race,
Yeah,
greater reporting back to the city council on capital expenditure programs. Frankly, it was unacceptable to the council, certainly unacceptable to me as a city councilor, to hear the library project is going to be 2 million and then not hear from the administration for 2 years, essentially.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oops, now it's 18 million.
Yeah.
And the lack of transparency by the administration in letting us know what was happening and what kind of decisions we might want to make in response to what was happening about higher projected costs was simply unacceptable. There's no reason why the administration should have held back from sharing with the council over a 2-year period of time a project cost growth from 2 million to 18. Simply unacceptable.
Yeah.
So one of the things I really want to work on and would bring my experience on the council to bear is making sure there is greater accountability and reporting and transparency to the general public about capital expenditure projects, and that would include the projected City Hall renovation project.
yeah. And at the same time, there's still stories going around that I hear anyway. We got to do something about the school roofs at the elementary level, and we still have a concern about beach erosion and the flooding at Lynch Park.
Yeah.
And again, hopefully we get some state support for some of these kind of projects, but with the new administration all the way up to a new president, things are looking tight all over. And
Yeah, this past year, the grants, the city, through its grants director, Catherine Barrett, got $11 million in grants
Yeah.
for various city projects and programs and services. The year before, it was 8.5. I think it's fair to anticipate that the state and therefore the city as well, because a lot of our grants come from the state through federal funding, are going to be considerably less.
Yeah.
We've already heard that the opportunities are considerably less. So that's going to prove to, again, create financial challenges for the city in terms of providing services. So, for example, the Lynch Park resiliency study, which is in Ward 4, is another strong focus for me in terms of things I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to working on.
And we've got a number of problems in the same kind of thing with some flooding in some areas that need to be worked on. So yeah, that's one of the things that gets to me. I hear bits and pieces, and there's never seemed to be a whole story come out as to what happened. Because
Regarding what, George?
well, lots of things. One particular that got me. A while back, there was some talk about, well, we have a pumping station to pump the sewage into Salem to be processed.
Yeah.
And it's in a situation where, again, it sounds like part of a resiliency program that is subject to high tide flooding, storm flooding, and that kind of thing. And we're going to work on it. And nothing. I haven't heard anything since. I don't know if it's still a problem, if it got fixed.
The pumping station, I guess, is and that you're referring to, that issue is not really been on my radar. I haven't heard anything about it. What I would say and would direct audiences to are the city website, which has a host of information. Maybe that's not the right term. Has a lot of information that are available to the public. So if you go to the city website and look at the engineering department's website, they will list projects that are ongoing and when they're projected to be worked on. That's one of the things that the council has worked with the administration really vigorously in terms of trying to get that kind of information available to the general public, because there's a limit to what you can cover door knocking, for example, during a campaign.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of information on the city website about what the status is and the scheduling is for various projects going on in the city. So that particular one I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
But the city website has that, as well as I wanted to just quickly mention financial policies and objectives.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a document that's been adopted by the city. It's something I submitted that I filed back in 2017 and was adopted by the city. It basically provides, now it's pretty thick, so don't be intimidated by it. You can leaf through it, it's pretty user-friendly. I particularly wanted it written so that it would be good for the general public.
Yeah.
It lays out sort of a guideline for how the city budget is created.
Yeah.
And also this document, which is Jerry Perry's analysis report given to the city council regarding the structural deficit. So the financial policies and objectives is on the city website. This will be on my either my Facebook page as a city councilor or on my website as a city councilor.
Okay. So the other city councilors publish it also?
That's up to them, what they want to do. Certainly, I think for people who do want to dig into it and have an understanding about it, this is a reliable, authoritative source of information as opposed to what you may hear in the way of opinions on social media.
Yeah. So that's part of the problem. You get the opinions on social media, and maybe you get a letter to the editor that shows up on Patch or Salem News.
Yeah, there's a lot of misunderstandings and misconceptions. My training as a lawyer, I really want to deal with authoritative documents and information.
Yeah. So it's going to be a tough couple of seasons with the finances. There's a lot of things that we're still trying to do relative to having a green community and all that good stuff. That is, again, it's driving cost, and the support at the federal level is being cut. So these are areas that they may not happen, or they may get redirected, and we get back to some of these issues. It doesn't affect Ward 4, but the erosion at the beaches that affect mostly Ward 1 and
Odell Park, yeah.
Odell Park and
Lynch Park very much as well.
Lynch Park, yeah, well, Lynch Park, yeah, that's right, that's Ward 4, and that's part of the problem too. So it gets to be a question of priorities as to what can we work on and what can we let slide for another year or two, and hopefully things change. And we get into a situation, I think, that we're going to have to make do with what we've got.
That's absolutely right. I
Yeah.
mean, we're going to have to, if you will, tighten our belt, the
Yeah.
proverbial belt, right? And if we can identify or create additional sources of revenue, so be it. But as I said, I think the jury is still out on what people really are looking for the city to do. I have constituents who will say, absolutely, we are not, I do not want to see increased fees. We already pay enough. I have others who say, I would absolutely be willing to pay more to maintain or increase services. And the conversation between my constituents in Ward 4 in particular will be of concern to me, but it's going to be a citywide conversation as well.
Well, I think that also gets into the issue of what are we going to spend the money on? And right now, the override is being kicked around as, well, we need more money for the city. Okay, what are we going to spend it on? What's the priorities? And I think this is an area that I just don't hear very much. I don't see very much about, well, we got to do more in the schools. Well, what more? And
yeah, it's a funny thing. I would say the vast majority of the time, unless the city council is passing a resolution that recognizes outstanding achievements or something special about someone or some particular event in the city, most of the time, most people are not at city council now. They may be watching it on BevCam, and a tip of the hat to BevCam. They do fantastic service to the council and the citizens for covering city council meetings. But I won't speak to the school committee side because that's the school committee. I'm not on the school committee. But our democracy really relies upon people being engaged in civics, right? Being engaged with civic government. And so following what's actually going on, I think is an important thing. So when you say you don't hear a lot, I think there's a lot of conversation going on, I would suggest. But the question is, where is that conversation going on? And are people listening to that as opposed to social media?
Yeah, and you raise another interesting predicament that, okay, you're not on the school committee, understand that. But a big driver in this financial challenge going forward is going to be more money for the school committee or for the school system.
Yep.
And
I think got an increase of something like $7 million, give or take, in this year's budget, in terms of an increase over last year's budget.
And I expect next year is going to be kind of a similar kind of request. But at the same time, you got to vote on it and say, is that a valid source of spending the revenue? Are we going to get our money's worth from it before you'd approve it? And I hope somehow or other this thing gets explained. And I keep coming back to, what are you going to do with the money? What is the problem you're solving? And you look at some of the data, I know it's out of your ballpark to keep harping on the school committee, but that's the driver. And the schools have not recovered from COVID.
I think that's fair to say. I think
At
we're
all three levels.
still having a knock-on effect from that.
And the level of achievement is not where we'd expect it to be. So, we got to do some work on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of debate. And again, the school system is not and hasn't really been the focus of what city council focuses on. That's what the school committee is for. But there is a vigorous and heated debate about, are the schools delivering what they should be in the way of services to parents and, to students and their parents. It is an area which I feel compelled to educate myself on more, even though I will not have a direct impact on it, but just to be able to talk more with people and understand better the issues that certainly led up to and are, I think, still part of the community conversation about the school system, the school strikes, and so forth. I think we're still living as a community with the knock-on effect of the precipitating events and what followed from the settlement of the strike.
Yeah. And you're still a candidate for re-election, so it comes down to the time where you make your pitch. So it's all yours.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a Ward 4 city councilor. I'm the senior councilor on city council at this point. I've served for 14 years, and I'm running for re-election. And I hope the service I've provided and the listening that I engage in, I hope is sufficient for people to vote for me. And certainly I hope people will vote for me, and I ask for people's vote in November when the election comes. I would just tick off a few things that are specific to me as a counselor. One is top priority is listening to my constituents, providing services to constituents for any issues they may have, getting services that they need, whether it's taking care of trash. We have the trash problem going on right now, not being picked up, whether it's potholes, whether it's rodent infestation, helping be the bridge between my constituents and City Hall. There are projects I want to work on. The cemetery has been a project I've been trying to work on for quite a while in terms of getting the cemetery fence taken care of. An example of the kind of work I do is for the last 3 years now, meeting twice a month with the Citizens Advisory Committee dealing with the cable project that National Grid has put through the heart of Ward 4, helping to troubleshoot issues with that. So the work of a city councilor really, for a ward councilor, really focuses primarily on constituent issues response to the residents in the ward. But 98% of what we as a city councilor work on really are citywide related issues like the budget. And I have a lot of expertise that I've have gained as over my years of service, and I'm eager to continue working on those citywide issues as well, particularly what we see coming in terms of the financial challenges the city is going to be facing in the years coming.
Well, the best of luck.
Thank you very much, George.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. And we will have more discussions with the various candidates. And if you've got a comment, send me an email, or better still, we'll make room for you here at the table. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.